Selamat siang Amerika, selamat malam Indonesia. Guys, kali ini aku lagi di cavern Glenwood Adventure Park. Dan ini lagi di dalam goa. Ingin melihat keseruan dalam goa? Ada apa di dalamnya? Dan bagaimana? Ini dia nih. Masih lebih parah ini.
He looked around, he said, wow, it's as big as a barn. So we named it the barn. And we're going to start at the top of the barn, but when we get down near the bottom, you'll see a hole with a red light in it. That red light is there to show you where Peter Pan Preble came up out of Jam Crack in Purgatory. So that's why we have this tunnel here and so many stairs going down, so you do not have to do Jam Crack in Purgatory.
That's good.
Sorry to disappoint anybody. It's 120 stairs, so not so bad anymore.
Oh, okay, it's not bad. 120.
One way.
One way. No.
Iya. Iya, tapi kan nggak langsung sekali, kan.
1960.
1960. Don't touch the wall.
Cool. It's 52 degrees. So. Just know it's a good thing to get tricked on. Alright, welcome into the barn, everybody. Kind of bigger than a few barns put together. This is actually the second largest cave room in all of Colorado, but the biggest one's on private property, so you can't really go in that one. That makes this the biggest cave in the state you can go in, though. And hey, since it's called the barn, every barn needs some barn animals in it, right? We like to show off a couple barn animals here. Especially right up front here, you'll see our giant cave pig. See the pig there? There's his big snout right there, and his eye, and his ear, and his big body there. Yeah, that's our giant cave pig. If you're wondering where all the cave bacon in a cave comes from, now you know.
Wait, what's that thing attached to?
That is called a hydrometer there. That measures the humidity in the cave.
Oh,
Yeah, or it's pig drool, whichever you like.
big drool.
There's a little cave rooster in here too. There's a little white rooster on the wall right there.
Oh,
Above the rooster, you can see the neck and head of a giraffe,
oh.
kind of, because every barn needs a giraffe in it, right? This barn does. Hey, if you're not impressed by the giraffe, we have a dragon in here too.
Where?
The dragon, he's over here. You can only see his eye though.
Oh,
So this is the eye of the dragon in this hole right here.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he's sleeping, but he still keeps an eye on the cave for us anyway, making sure nobody's touching him. He's a nice dragon, yeah. Plus, it's a really smart cave, too. You want to see how smart it is? Look up right over here to see its big brain. Yeah, this is called the brain of the cave, for obvious reasons. But what this brain really is the petrified remains of a colony of bacteria. So yeah, hundreds of millions of years ago, when there was still water way up in the cave, these big clumps of bacteria here, they float around in the water and eat all the good stuff they could find, all the nutrients. Whenever they ate iron, though, they'd leave behind rust. And that's why you see all this red stuff on the ceiling all around here. That's all ancient rust left behind by the brain of the cave after its little iron supper. And yeah, and then I told you guys there's a little crystal in here, too. You guys are in the right spot to see the crystal. It's right there. Cool little spiky crystal there. These are called aragonite crystals. And the neat thing about these crystals is those little spikes on the right, they grow depending on the direction of the airflow in a cave. So all the airflow in here is coming up left to right, is why the spikes are growing to the right like that. And the neat thing about that is that if you ever find yourself lost in a cave, if you find one of these little crystals here, try going the opposite direction of the little spikes. It might help you find a hole to the outside. And hopefully you don't have to do compression breathing or anything, but... So this is a limestone cave, like most of the caves in the world. This is all limestone around us. But the limestone, it's basically an ancient compressed seabed. It's full of shells and bones and coral and sand. Yeah, before there were ever any mountains here, we had a little shallow sea covering this area, a little ocean right here.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, this rock is full of all the little sea creatures that lived and died and then got squished down by all the water over millions of years. But then over time, as you can tell, the mountains did rise up. And the mountains, they would have cracked all this limestone and sent like big fissures through it. That allowed ways for water to start coming down through it to form all the great formations that we're going to see. But that would have been after the caves were actually carved out. These caves here, they were formed by the hot springs. Yeah, the same hot springs you can go swimming in nowadays down in Glenwood, like 300 million years ago, we're still way up in the mountain here. But back then, the hot springs, it had a bunch of sulfuric acid in it too. Not good swimming hot springs back then. But it's that acid, that sulfuric acid that carved out all the caves here. And then as the water table dropped over the years, it just kept eating away at the mountain. So yeah, really this whole mountain is just full of caves. There's miles and miles of caves. In just a moment here, we'll start heading down. There is a little ferry I can show you guys right over here too. Yeah, you want to see our ballerina ferry? Look right up there. You see the little ballerina?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's up on point there.
Yeah, that's
So yeah,
cute.
there's her arms and her legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our little ballerina fairy.
Yeah.
She's a sugar plum fairy, technically. Yeah. She leads all the other fairies in a little dance at night. They all get down and do a yay, they're gone dance.
Yeah, that's cute though.
Yeah. So let's see, we're gonna, as soon as this group is up, we're gonna head down to the first platform. Now everybody, that's the hardest part of the job, is going rare to get drip down every few seconds or so. All those drips and drops, they make Oscar the fastest growing formation in here. It grows the width of a human hair every year. That's super fast in cave time. The rest of these formations, they take 1,000 years for every cubic inch. So that means that like this little one right up front, that's like at least 4,000 years old right there.
Stalagmites,
And that's because
stalactites.
of how dry Colorado is. Wetter locations, their caves take like 100 years per cubic inch. But yeah, here 1,000 years. And these are all made from calcite. It's the white rock you touched outside. But really that calcite is like the shells and bones from the ancient sea creatures. So yeah, these are all made out of bone and shell. And they're all made by a different kind of acid called carbonic acid.
Carbon.
And now everybody knows what carbonic acid is.
Yeah.
That's if you take a can of soda and you shake it up real good, it gets all foamy and fizzy.
Yeah.
That's carbonic acid. And that's what makes all these formations here. Basically, water comes down through the ground, it gets all bubbly when it passes through all the plant and animal material, gets some carbon dioxide. But then it comes squeezing down through the limestone, and it's under a lot of pressure. That pressure turns into a foamy, slow-moving acid. And then it picks up some of that shell and bone on its way down, though, and when it comes into a big open space like this, because it's not being squeezed anymore, it turns back into regular water. And then that regular water can't hold down to that calcite. It's too heavy for it. So yeah, that's how you get the stalactites.
Yeah.
They hang tight to the ceiling. Or on the ground, they're called stalagmites.
Yeah.
Because you might trip over them. That's how we remember the difference. That's how you get cave
Stalactite,
bacon as well, too.
stalagmite.
If the water's running along the cave wall instead of dripping down. And the reason these Cheetos are orange like this is because that carbonic acid picked up some iron on its way down through iron
Belum
molecules as
menetes
well.
once in a while.
But here, I'll get the light onto the rest of the cave if you guys are ready to see what it looks like. I just have to reach right up over here. Excuse me. There's the rest of the cave.
Oh.
Now, you guys can lead the way. If you see where my light is flashing, there's a wooden box with a cross on it. We're going all the way down that wooden box, so we'll all meet there. So be careful on the
So
steps.
this is the stalagmite.
Yeah, take
Oh,
this
actually there's a lot of
all
stalagmites.
the way down that wooden box.
Oh, look at that. Ah. Okay. Napanono. And then, basah guys. Tuh, air jatuh dari atas.
Back there, then purgatory goes back and forth behind that wall. So it's when we get down to the next platform is where you'll see that red light that shows you where Peter Preble first came into this cave in 1960. Peter then actually bought the caves the following year in 61. He got a couple of partners to help him with that named Bob and Bob. Yeah, Peter, Bob, and Bob, they bought the caves for $16,000. And they had dreams of doing tours here too, never worked out for them. But our current owner, Steve Beckley, he bought the caves from Peter Preble in 98. He paid $1 million for these caves, so Peter did okay. And then they spent that whole winter in 98 into the spring in 99, putting all these stairs and lights and everything. That was all volunteers that did all this work.
Oh, wow.
Now, the very bottom room that we're going down to, it was originally just this little tiny hole that Peter had to blow open enough to even squeeze through. Nowadays, we have a garage door on it, though. So I'm going to get that door open here now. It mainly keeps it from drying out. Here, I'll lead the way. But yeah, down there in that hole, that's the only natural way in and out of here. Yeah, door as well.
That's what it calls purgatory.
No way I would do that.
That's the easy part you're looking at there. That's the
Oh no,
Oh, kind of dark, yeah. So here you go. I present to you. Oh, that reaches too high. But so let's turn on all the lights, and it looks really neat with the purple lights and the regular lights on. Because there's a few other fun formations I can show you real quick here too. Let's see the wedding cake. You will see the kissing couple. Yeah. Or it's a really good hug at least. There's a wizard tower to the left of them there. That's our cool wizard tower right there. There's a lighthouse right up front here by me. There's a lighthouse. And as promised, Santa Claus is in here too. Santa, he's right up front here, this white one. See? He's got a bag of toys over his shoulder even. And his hat and his beard there. Yeah, that's Santa Claus. And he's coming to town pretty soon because that's the Leaning Tower of Glenwood Springs right there. Also, we have Snow White in here too. Snow White, she's back behind the column there. You see that big one there? She's got a little bird on her head. And look, there's the 7 dwarfs all around her. Yeah. See Dopey and Sneezy and Jeezy and Grumpy and Doc and Phil and Johan. Yeah, I think I got them all. Okay, there's one more fun one here. It's all the way over to the left there. You can see a head and an arm and a leg sticking out there. That's the gingerbread man, man. Yeah, he's stuck. It could be the Pillsbury Doughboy, or maybe the Escape Pod Marshmallow Man, the Michelin Man for older folks out there. Whoever he is, he's totally stuck, and he's kind of scared because it looks like there's a couple of crab claws coming out right for him. Help me, I'm stuck. Yeah, a lot of people spend a lot of time down here staring at these rocks and see what they can see, in case you're going to tell. But if you guys are ready, we'll send the front rows up first here. We're going to go back to the platform with the wooden box with the cross. Please don't go past there yet. And you guys can, if you're all ready, go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Anybody in the back that wanted to come down and see it up front for a minute here? Once these guys get up front, you're welcome to come down to the front real quick.
Yeah.
And then we'll all meet at that wooden box with the cross. Oh yeah, that have grown together, symbolizing how their lives have grown together. 16 weddings is why there's so many baby stalactites out there. I guess, hey, if you love caves and your partner loves caves, get married in a cave. Everybody doing okay? Should we do a couple stairs? Sand. For the longest time, nobody knew what was up in this hole up here or how high up it went. But a couple of years ago, one of our guides, he's a rock climber too. He got permission to climb all the way up there. He spent 3 days planning out how to get up there. Yeah, because this is all dirt all the way up. He wanted to make sure his anchors were good and all that. But yeah, after 3 days of planning, he made it all the way to the top there and determined it goes up 65 feet. And what he found up there, laying all over the place, a whole bunch of dirt.
Of course.
I told you it was all dirt all the way up, but we had to find out. Now there's a fun alternate story for you for what this hole really is. You saw King Kong's face down below, right?
Yeah.
Look on the wall straight ahead of you.
The King
over
Kong
here.
feet.
There's King Kong's big monkey print there, yeah. So this is where he climbs in and out of the mountain here. It's King Kong's back door.
Oh, look at that.
So we'll keep on going here. Everybody's going here.
Oh wow. We didn't see it when we came.
Oke guys, sekian dulu vlognya kali ini. I'll see you next vlog. Ciao.